Hi all, this is Allmighty and welcome to this video. In this video we are going to talk about endgames where we have a rook and a knight. Okay, so for starters, let me show you a couple of positions where the side which has the rook can win the game. Because in most of the cases this is a drawn endgame, because the coordination between the king and the knight could work really well, and the side which has the knight can draw the game easily. But I will show you more about that later. So here, as we can see, one of the worst positions that you can have where both of your king and the knight are in the corner. So here, and specifically for this endgame, if your knight is in the corner, it's not actually the best place to have him, since you want your knight to be able to jump around the king so he can protect him, and here he cannot even escape because white plays king to c6, and now he actually disables squares where this knight can jump. So let me show you in a couple of moves how this is played out. So there are a couple of options for the black king here. He can play king to a2 or king to c1 or somewhere with the knight. If he plays a king here, then this is an easy checkmate, so he probably won't be playing that. And if he moves with the knight, for example, here it will be captured right away, but on c7 we can give a check. Now he has to cover or run with the king, and in the end the knight is captured and the checkmate follows soon. But okay, probably the most resilient move would be king to a7, and now we give a subtle move, which is rook to b4, and we don't want to give black to give an opportunity to go back to b8. Instead of that, he needs to move the king or play with the knight, and if he plays the king here, this is checkmate. So let me show you that. And if he moves the knight here, it is captured, and if he plays here, it is captured as well. So let's, for example, try this and play this out until the end. Okay, so a casual rook endgame which ends in the side which has a rook with a winning position. So okay, this is the first situation, and now the second one. So maybe you can notice that here the composition is a little bit different. Previously we had a king on not in the corner but a knight in the corner, but they are still here together. So now, as in previous position, the white rook is actually cutting off the king, and the white king is also fairly close. So one thing to remember about these positions is that you really need to put the king into the corner and play your pieces against him so that he stays there. And now here we play king to g6, and as you can see, the only thing he can do is move the knight, since the black king cannot move anywhere. So this is also one of the positions that you don't really want to have. You actually cramped yourself, and now you need to get out with the knight, either knight to f6 or knight to e7. So let's play the simpler one here, and this is checkmate. Okay, these were the positions where actually the black king was in the corner along with the knight. But now I will show you a position where you have a knight far away from his king, and where actually there is another method how white can try and win the game. This is the second type of these kinds of positions in this endgame where we have a rook and a knight, which white can actually go and win. But let me premise this with saying that most of these situations are drawn, but there are a couple of situations where you can actually hunt down the enemy's knight, try to capture him, and then in the end, playing with the rook, that rook endgame, you can easily checkmate the black king. So here, for example, as you can see, they are far away. The king is on the 8th rank and the knight is somewhere here. So we didn't put him this time into the corner because, yeah, we wouldn't give him a chance there. But now he has a little more space to go around, to jump around. But again, we will try and hunt him down. And the way to do so is not to harass the black's king, but actually go with your rook and your king towards that knight and make him feel uncomfortable in a way to give him less and less space where he can jump. So let's do that. The natural move to do that would be here, king to e5. And okay, so this knight had previously these jumping points. For example, if he wanted to stay in the center, let's say, and now with this move we disabled d5 and f5, and this rook is slicing comfortably along this rank, and the knight has no other way to go but back. But okay, probably he doesn't want to do that. He actually wants to run away with a king in this direction. But okay, we don't mind. We can actually do the following now. Rook to e4. And in a way, now we are attacking this knight, but actually nothing changed in a way where he can jump. So still all of these squares are covered, and now he is attacked and he needs to move. Okay, so now of course he has a couple of options, but let's just go over a few of them. In the end, the result will be the same. So if he plays knight to c2 here, then okay, so we always look where can he jump. So he can go back. In this case, here, 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 and here. Okay, and we are covering most of those squares with the rook. So only squares that are left here are this one and this one. And now we activate our king actually and want to come to these squares so that we can cover them faster. Then the black king can come, but if the black king comes to the help to the knight, then unfortunately it will be a drawn endgame. So okay, let's bring our king, because now also if he played knight to a3 and we didn't move the king, he could have possibly escaped through b5. But now we are preventing that because we play king to c5, and we are again giving this knight less and less space to jump. Okay, now he can go actually here or here. We can play with the knight, or we can move the king. In the end, the result will be the same. So okay, let's try and move the king for a bit. We don't want to check him, even though he is in the opposition. We want to grab the knight first. So okay, the knight is attacked, and now he can jump to b1 or c2. So let's try and jump to c2. And now the knight, again, we will show where can he jump. This rook is comfortably covering these squares. So maybe let's just say, for example, that he jumps here. Then some things are different. But now he is in the corner. Again, I cannot. I mean, I can show you all of the variations, but this would turn out in a really long video. So I'm going to just show you some of them. But in the end, with a good coordination with the rook and the king, the black knight doesn't stand a chance. For example, here, these squares are covered by the king, and now you see this square is not covered. So there are actually two ways that you can prevent the knight from coming into the game. You can play rook to d4 or rook to e2. I will play rook to e2, but again, the result is the same. And now, only thing which is left to do, because the knight cannot move anywhere, is to come and pick him up. Okay, and when we pick him up, I don't want to show you this because I did it already in the previous videos. You can now checkmate easily with your rook. But let's go back to initial position very quickly. Again, this is our first move since it is the best one. But instead of moving the king, let's try and I don't know. I mean, we cannot jump here as we said previously, and we don't want to jump into the corner. But okay, let's say since we covered knight to c2, let's say he jumps to g2. Okay, let's look at the jumping points for this knight when he came to g2. So we have h4, f4, e3, and e1. And when we stop and think about it, there is a move which can actually disable all of these jumps for the knight. Rook to e4, because now we are covering here and here, and we are covering all of his jumping points. And as said previously, now it's only a matter of time when the king will come and we will win this knight. So okay, he cannot move anywhere with the knight. Let me just quickly show you this. He wants to come closer here, but now he attacked our rook, and we can just move him since now the king is covering these two squares, and the rook needs to cover these two squares. But also we can play rook to e2 because now we can just pick up the knight. So okay, This is the end of this position. As I said, this is the second type of position where actually white can win the game, and the first type of position is where the enemy's knight is in the corner. It doesn't really matter if the king is there or not. The knight doesn't have a lot of space to move, and in the end, yeah, he will be captured. So okay, for the last thing I prepared is actually I will be playing again against the machine. In this situation I will have the knight, and the machine will try and checkmate me, and I will show you along the way what you actually need to do to survive and draw the endgame. Okay, so for the final position, this is what I prepared. I've put myself onto the first rank, so as you can see, this is probably the worst position in these cases which you can have. My knight is near me, so this is something that is needed for white in this case to draw this endgame, because as we saw previously, if the knight would be far away, then maybe the opposite side can hunt him down. But here, as we can see, the black is cutting off this way and the black king is coming. So we want to defend ourselves with the king and the knight. So let me show you. I'll quickly, so let me place the first move. So now there isn't any like regular way or a pattern or something how you can do this. You just need to do one thing. You need to cover this square. For example, if king is on d1, we need to cover this square because the king can come here on d3, create an opposition, and then try and give checkmate. And also we have to take care of our knight in a way that the rook doesn't come on the last rank, maybe pin it, then we have to move with the king and in the end lose him. So okay, let me show you how will I do that. So first I can even give check to the black's king. So let me turn this on, and now okay, he plays king to d4. Now yeah, I can even attack the enemy's king, and now I have this simple defense with the king and the knight. I can give checks to the enemy's king, and I can run away when he is running away this way, but okay, maybe if he wanted to come closer, the moves that I would play are knight around the king. If he comes somewhere when I can check him, I will check him, and if he doesn't, I will just bring the king, so the knight here, and there is no problem because this king cannot come to this place and create an opposition and in the end checkmate me. Okay, now when he stayed here, there is no more option for my knight to jump here, but I'm not afraid. I can just play the knight here because some other options where I move the king aren't that great, so I can even move my knight here. If he plays something like this, just pull the knight back. And now I can play two types of moves. I can move the king on c2 and d1 since the rook went away, and even maybe want to run into the center. But also what I can do is I can use the knight like this and pull it away. Let me show you both of these cases. As you can see, unfortunately the machine cannot find a good way where he can bring the king anywhere closer and in the end try and checkmate me. So let me also explain that other situation. Okay, if he moves the rook, if he would try, for example, come to d4, then I will check him with knight on e2, and coming with the king on c3, I can even move the king or bring the knight back. But in the end, this is a drawn endgame. So let me just play a couple of more moves. Okay, again, shouldn't be afraid. If he gives a check, you can just go away and play with your knight. But yeah, as we saw here, everything ends essentially in the same way. Okay, now we can even play this. Okay, play here, and this is it. The main point is keep your knight and your king close. Don't run away with your king from the knight, and use them well, coordinate, and black can't harm you in this case. So this is it for this video. So let me just run away once more. Okay, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.